Hello and welcome back to our second part of our series on how to brew your first beer. In this segment we're going to show you how to transfer it into a secondary, and we'll show you all those steps along the way. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to transfer into a 5-gallon glass carboy. You can either use glass or you can use plastic. Either one will be fine. There's some advantages and disadvantages to both. In a glass, it lasts you a lifetime, easy to clean, easy to sanitize. The problem with them is they're heavy and they can be slippery. If you drop them, it can be disastrous. The second thing is plastic, a little tougher to clean. You got to be extra careful with it, not to scratch it. So you need to be real diligent, not to be pay close attention to when you're cleaning those. All right. Why do we secondary? Well, us as home brewers, we don't necessarily filter our beer, correct? So what we do is we filter by means of sedimentation. So first thing is we want to get our beer out of this bucket after about 7 days. I tell people to leave it in there at least a solid week. I know a lot of other books and stuff of that will actually tell you to watch the airlock, and after so many bubbles per minute, it'll tell you to transfer it. Well, this airlock can bubble for lots of different reasons, so I wouldn't necessarily go on that. But if you wait at least a week and transfer it from then, you'll be in good shape. But why do we do that? Well, first and foremost, you have a lot of organic material down here in the bottom. Well, what happens when proteins and stuff of that nature start to break down? They could possibly give you a little bit of off flavors. So we want to get it off of that. Second thing is these buckets, they're not 100% airtight, so over time, your CO2 is going to dissipate. The CO2 kind of gives you a protective layer over the top of your beer. So over time, that'll dissipate. So we need to get it out of here so we don't make sure that we don't have any kind of oxidation. So with that being said, let's get started and we'll show you how to do it. All right, guys, we've got our bucket here ready to rock and roll. Of course, we have our carboy that's been sanitized. We talked a lot about sanitization in the first one. The first section, which has gone through Star San. Everything is ready to go. We also have a 5-gallon bucket over here with Star San in it. So I'm going to pull this auto-siphon out of here, and we're going to transfer it over into our carboy here. Just remember, anything and everything that goes through your carboy has to be sanitized. Now this little tool here doesn't come in your kit, but it's a handy little accessory. It's a clip that is supposed to hold your stuff up, but evidently that one does not work. I think that's for a 1/2 inch. That's why it's not working. All right. And the important part of this step here is that you want to make sure that your auto-siphon tube is all the way to the bottom of your carboy. That way you're not splashing around and causing you some oxidation. The auto-siphon is real easy to use. All you have to do to start the siphon, of course it's going now, but all you have to do is pull it up and push it down, and it automatically starts the siphon for you, so it makes it really easily. There it goes. This is most of the stuff you want to leave behind. So. Alright, there we are, we got it. Now we just need to put the stopper on this dude. Okay guys, now that we've got our carboy filled up with our beer, we need to get our cork as well as our airlock into our carboy. So typically it works well. Go ahead and stick your cork in first, and then put in your airlock there. Also, we talked about it a little bit earlier. I like to put vodka in there because that way we don't have to worry about any kind of taint. And also, if you want to, you could take a shot once you're done. No, just kidding. But anyway, a couple things we want to talk about carboys now that we got it in glass. Well, first and foremost, we got a glass one here. We have these accessories available. There's a carboy handle. This really, I don't think, is a good idea to be able to carry this around when it's full. This is really just kind of an extra handle that you can get a hold of it. One of the things we recommend for, especially if you have a glass carboy, is a brew hauler. This will allow you to carry with two hands, or you can have one person on each side to lift it, because it's quite heavy with a glass carboy with a 5 gallons worth of beer in it. So get you one of those. Also, it makes it a little bit safer too if it happens to be wet. So make sure you do that. Other thing to consider, now that we have this in the glass carboy, what do we need to do? Well, first and foremost, one thing that we're vulnerable to now is light. So you want to make sure to put either a towel around it, keep it out of direct sunlight especially, because there's hot particles in here that UV light can break down. And you guys have all had skunky beer probably once or twice. That's what happens. So you want to make sure to get your carboy out of direct sunlight, or even really bright UV light too. So, all right. Now, what we usually tell people on the lower alcohol beers, weaken your fermenter or your bucket, weaken here, and then bottle it. Just keep this in mind for higher alcohol beers. It's not a bad idea to go ahead and leave it for a couple more weeks in here. What it does is it just allows it to age and mature a little better. So keep that in mind as well. The main thing is get it out of the bucket after 7 days and in here. Then you're safe for a little while. All right, so we're going to let this set for about a week, and then we're going to come back and we're going to show you how to bottle it.